So the idea of significant figures, sometimes called significant digits. Significant digits are non-zero digits unless there's a zero between non-zero digits. So for example, if somebody says they made a measurement and they measured 230 feet, since this zero is on the edge and not between other digits, there are only two significant figures here. But if somebody made a measurement and they said it was something like 301, since the zero is in the middle, there are three significant digits here. Or significant figures. When I'm doing calculations and I'm deciding to round, the general rule is use the least number of significant figures in the answer. So least number significant figures for the answer of the calculation. So looking at this right here, 5.0, there's only one significant figure there. 7.233 has four significant figures. My answer can use only one significant figure in the answer. The other ones are not significant because this one isn't as accurate. What's that? You can only use, so yeah, so let's do this multiplication and see what happens. You already did it? So basically 5 times 7.233, according to Desmos, is 36.165. So that equals 36.165, and that would be feet squared. But because of the significant figures here, I would have to round to a single significant digit and say this is about 40 square feet.
Well, my answer about 17 instead of the.
Yeah.
So it's counting the zero as a significant figure because it's next to the decimal. Okay. So they're, because they, as opposed to writing just 5 instead of 5.0, they're saying that's significant. Yeah, I can see sometimes we would do that. All right, so if that were the case, this has two significant figures, and then this answer would be 36.
Then what you're measuring, that would not be an acceptable answer.
So let's try it and see what happens. 6. I like that. 40 probably not. There we go. And if I try to put more figures, it might not like it. So 3, 6, would be fine. 165. So 362 would be the next if we tried to include that. And it doesn't like that. So 36 would be the only acceptable one. Yeah. So because the zero was after the decimal, they're including it as significant because they didn't just call it 5. They call it 5.0. Surprise. Yeah. So this one, they're counting that as two significant figures there. This one's 4. So my answer can have at most two significant figures. So I have to decide to round. So for this one, 9 times 8.195, according to my calculator, is 73.755. I can only use the first two digits. The 7 to the right tells me to round that to a 74. Notes here. So that they called this number 9.0. Desmos isn't going to hear that they called it 9.0. Else I'm going to change anything to Desmos. But it is going to tell me to round. So for this one here, this is what Desmos says it's equal to. If I count that as two significant figures, then that means I can only keep up to that spot. And I would say this is about 74 for the answer. Two significant figures. So significant figures is the idea of when do you decide which place to round at? It gives us one way to do that. Sure. Yeah, another request.